A little bit about the
Cece Yara.
Cece Yara Foundation.
Yes. So the Cece Yara means save the children in
Okay.
Hausa language. The Cece Yara Foundation is a child-centered organization, a non-governmental organization that focuses on prevention of child sexual abuse and provides support, care, information, and emergency intervention for children who are abused or at risk of being abused.
Okay, so how can somebody really sort of like access the services from this foundation? How do you find children who have been abused to be able to support them?
Okay, so we have a toll-free child helpline,
Okay.
which is 0800 800 801, where
Okay.
adults and children can call to report abuse.
Okay.
And the services we provide are we provide psychosocial support, we
Okay.
provide medical support, we provide legal support, we provide forensic interview, and we also do awareness creation in communities and in schools. So in schools, we educate children on how to stay safe, how to be assertive, how to learn about their private body parts, and how to report cases of abuse. Also, we educate them how to build trust, how to identify their trusted adults, and differentiating between a trusted adult and a perpetrator, because a perpetrator can in turn be a trusted adult can in turn be a perpetrator. So they need to understand who a trusted adult is.
Exactly. Yes. And when somebody is about to cross the line.
Yes, they know what to do and how to speak up. Let their no be their no.
Okay. And can I also ask, at what age do you really start to sort of like educate the children and let them know about how to be more aware about their body parts? What age is the most advisable to start speaking to children about these things?
Okay, there is no really. Okay, the age is from when you feel, while communicating with your child, when you know your child is able to understand.
Okay.
So there is no specific age. When you know, you need to use a child-friendly manner to communicate with your child. And when you know your child can access some information, yes. So when you know your child is up to that stage, you can see a 4-year-old child that is able to understand what you're talking about, while for some children, 5, some children, it depends.
It depends on their age.
So it depends on the parents. When you know your child is able to assimilate information.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, when the parent feels that the child is starting to be knowledgeable on certain things, then they should now have the conversation
with them. But as earlier as possible, it's advisable as early as possible.
Can you give us some examples of some of the things that you teach the children to make them more aware?
Okay, so we educate children for schools. We educate children under the age of 5 to 18.
Yeah.
Because the children below that age, they might not be able to understand and assimilate the information you're passing to them. So for 5 to 7, the way we relate to children within those age range is different from the way we relate with the teenagers, because they are more knowledgeable and able to understand what we are talking about. So we educate them on their body boundaries, how to stay safe, how to report abuse. So we have what we call the pant rule. You know, pant is what you wear to cover your private body parts. So using that as a guide, we educate them, and each letter of the word pants stands for something. Like letter P stands for private are private. So we make them understand that whatever you say is private is something you only have access to. When it becomes public, it means everyone has access to it. So privates are private. That's for letter P. Letter A, you should always remember that your body belongs to you. Your body doesn't belong to anyone else, it belongs to you, and your body is private. Letter N, no means no. Be assertive. When you say no, you let your no be your no. Letter T, talk about secrets that upsets you. You know, most of these perpetrators, what they do is let it be a secret. Don't tell anyone.
Or they'll threaten.
Or threats, yes. So we try to differentiate a good secret from a bad secret, making them understand what a good secret is and what a bad secret is. For example, when your sister or your sibling is having a birthday and you want to give a surprise, is it a good secret or a bad secret? And they'll be like, hell, it's a good secret. How is it a good secret? Because it doesn't hurt you. You feel good about it. It doesn't affect you psychologically. Then bad secret touches to your private parts. How do you feel? Then they respond. We try to make the lecture interactive so they get to understand what we are saying, and we also get to know their understanding about the topic we are discussing. So that's for letter C, talk about secrets that upsets you. Then letter S, speak up, someone can help. So statistics have shown that most people don't talk about the abuse due to fear of stigmatization and all. And also, most people don't know where to get help. But when you speak up, one way or the other, there will be someone that will be like, oh, you can get help here.
Exactly.
But when you don't speak up, you won't get help. Nobody knows what you are going through. So these are what we educate them on, the pantries. P, privates are private. A, always remember your body belongs to you. Letter N, no means no. Letter T, talk about secrets that upset you. Letter S, speak up, someone can help. It's only when you speak up you get help. If you don't speak up, you won't get help, and the perpetrator keeps threatening you. But by the time you report the perpetrator, you see that the perpetrator won't threaten you. It won't become a threat to you.
Wow, thanks. That's actually really amazing advice. It's good that you do advocacy, and I hope parents are also doing more of this, because I feel as though most of these things start from the home. If children are not better educated at the home, God forbid they go out, there's a stranger, they become vulnerable because they've not been taught how to be assertive. They've not been taught about how to have boundaries and say no. Because I think sometimes, especially in Nigerian parties, people are just used to hugging children, treating them anyhow.
So
but sometimes if the parents say, okay, you
boundaries.
don't have to hug everybody, this and that, it matters.
So we don't just provide awareness for children. So for children, we call it the Safe Kids Awareness and Prevention Program.
Okay.
While for adults, we call it Adults Awareness and Prevention Program.
You have like a separate program.
Yes.
That's
so
good.
For adults, we empower them on the best practice and the prevention and response to cases of child sexual abuse. First, they need to recognize the sign. They need to know that yes, this is real. Child sexual abuse happens. Know the statistics. 1 in 4 girls gets abused before the age of 18. Also, most people don't know where to report cases of abuse to. So they need to learn the facts. Two, they need to minimize the opportunity. Most abuse happens in isolated environments, one-on-one. The caregivers you leave your children with, who are they? How do they relate with your children? You understand? Then you need to talk about it. Educate your children. Know how to communicate in a child-friendly manner with your child. When your child comes to meet you and tell you, oh, this uncle did this, you don't need to shout on your child or make your child feel like you don't trust the child or you don't believe in the information the child is giving you. You need to understand how to communicate and relate with your child. Also, you need to recognize the signs. A child that is very active, that is very lively, suddenly is always on its own, doesn't want to talk to anyone, and you just feel, I think the child has a stressful day in school. First day the child is like that, second day the child is like that, and you just feel it's cool. Now, there are ways you can relate with your child. There are ways you can communicate with your child that the child would bring up, that the child will fill you in on whatever. Comfortable to talk about it. But when the child tells you, this uncle touched my bum, and you're like, when? How? You know, children,
they're yelling and shouting.
That way you've caught the information off from the child, because in the child's mind, the child begins to think, if I continue disclosing this, how will she react? Will she find me at fault? And we should always remember that child sexual abuse, it's not the child's fault. The child should not be blamed.
Exactly.
So you should communicate well with your child. If the child tells you that, patiently listen to your child. Make the child feel he or she is able to build that trust in you. You can stand up for your child. You can fight for your child, not by pushing your child away. Because trust me, when you yell at your child, when you push your child away, you don't know the next person your child is going to relate the information to, and you don't know what advice the person is going to give to your child. So the way we relate with our children goes, yes, it
we have to make sure that their children are actually comfortable coming to them and telling them things, and they will not just yell at them or make them feel as though they are bad or guilty.
Exactly. Even children also abuse children. And child protection is everybody's business. Don't say because this child is not my child, I don't want to be involved. Socialization. You don't know where your child can meet the other child. So if you know this, you see a child that is being abused, as an adult, as parents, as uncles, as aunties, we have the obligation to protect that child. Get to know what's happening with the child. Don't just leave the child that, oh, I can go and meet the parents now. The mother will tell me, what is your business? It's not your child. No, you should always intervene. Child protection is everybody's business.
Thank you. And now I want to go into how do you report, because sometimes
then lastly, react responsibly. When you intervene, you don't just stop there. So what do I mean by that? You see a child that is being abused, and you just go and tell the parent that no, you shouldn't do this to the child. Don't just stop there. You should report to the relevant authorities to assure the safety of that child. So we need to react responsibly. So first, learn the facts. Second, minimize the opportunity, talk about it, recognize the signs, and react responsibly. So that's what we educate adults in the prevention and response to cases of child sexual abuse.
You don't just say, oh, I'm suspecting that this person is doing something. Actually take it up. Even if you might be wrong, at least you've done your part.
As the suspicion can be, still speak up. Because when you speak up, the child might not want to speak up because the child is still within the offending environment. Now, when you intervene, you don't just stop there. You need to report to the relevant authorities. They'll take it up from there. If the environment is not safe for the child is being taken to a more comfortable environment where the child can relate whatever it is. And when the child relates that and we feel the environment is not safe, we try to get other non-offending family members that can take up the responsibility of the child. So we work in the best interest of the child, ensuring the child is safe and the child has a happy childhood.
Awesome, amazing. And I want to actually go into reporting, because that's a big case. We have the Child Rights Act that has been passed, but sometimes you hear all these cases that happen in news and you wonder, at the end of the day, are the perpetrators going to jail? Is anything happening? Or do people end up dismissing it because there's even pressure? Especially if it happens in a school, there's pressure from the parents. I don't want all this to be put in reputation. How do you because I know some of the things that this foundation does is justice and advocacy. How do you ensure that it's actually justice?
Okay, so we work with relevant stakeholders. Like the police, the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Child Protection Units, the Social Development Secretariat, Child Protection Units, Sexual and Gender-Based Response Team. So those are partners. Some of our partners we work with. So how do we receive cases of child sexual abuse? Through our toll-free child helpline, 0800 800 801. It's free of charge and you don't need credits to call the child helpline. So we have trained counselors that receive the case. Once they receive the case is then handled by a social worker who takes it up, conduct risk assessments, and to know if the environment is safe and all for the child. Now, we work with the police. We document the case at the police station and also ensure that justice is served. And how do I mean by that? We don't just say because we've reported to the police, we leave it to the police to do their work. We follow up directly to the extent of the Ministry of Justice. We follow up to ensure that the case is being prosecuted in court, and when the perpetrator is apprehended, the perpetrator remains in custody till the case goes to court. And while the case is in court, the child also accesses psychosocial support counseling. We provide counseling support, and all our services are free of charge.
So my name is Sanjureze, and I'm the child therapist in the Abuja Center, Cece Yara Center. So basically, what I do is I provide therapy for children that have been abused, or children that have been abused technically, and this involves the healing process, walking the child through the healing process. So when a child is brought in here by their parent or guardian, we first of all do what we call intake assessment, get to know the strengths and weaknesses of the child, the areas which the child is noticing the signs and symptoms as a result of what has happened about the child, what's his best for the child, the pacing which the child is ready to follow, how the child, the extent to which the child is willing to open up, and all that. So, like I said, it's all about the child. So it's focused on the importance, the benefits of the child, and I would say, just briefly, I would say therapy is very, very beneficial for children. It mustn't even be all about abuse. It mustn't be just about children that have experienced abuse. If you notice a child is going through some form of developmental or behavioral issues, it is very important to sign in the child for therapy, no matter how short it could be. There are many things a child could open up to a therapist about that the child won't be able to tell the parents or the guardian. So at any stage, at any time, therapy is really important for children.
Due to the sensitization in schools, in communities, we also do webinars for parents.
Okay, that's good.
All our services are free of charge.
Wow. And is it possible for you to give me an example, or just let me know some stats of how many children, like how many cases has this foundation taken up and it has actually been successful? They went through the process, Ministry of Justice, the perpetrator was actually
We've taken over several cases, and we've had 4 convictions.
Okay.
Yes, we've had 4 convictions, and we still have some cases in courts undergoing trials as well.
Okay, all right, that's good. And it's great that the services are free.
Yes, it's free of charge. So that's the essence of the sensitizations we do in communities.
Okay.
So we go to communities educating key stakeholders in the community, because we realize that most people don't know the organizations that provide support for survivors of child sexual abuse.
Okay.
So they just see they don't want to go through the stress of going to the police station and all. But when we go to the communities, we make them understand that the Cece Yara Foundation is here to provide the necessary support till the case gets judgment. If the child is out of school, the well-being of the child, we ensure that is secured. The safety of the child is secured as well. So we also give out a helpline they can call. We get cases through our child helpline, people walking to the organization, the center to report cases, or we have bystanders calling in to report cases as well.
Wow, that's good. And could you still tell me a little bit more about that sensitization process? Who are you actually speaking to? Who are some of those?
Okay, like I said, the adults, right?
Yes.
The key stakeholders, like the police, the vigilantes, teachers, the medical personnel in the community, the chiefs. These are key people in the communities.
Okay.
That when cases of abuse happens, they get to hear about it, or the case is being, like in the community now. Once a case of abuse is being reported, they go to report to the chief. So we make the chief understand that he is obligated to report those cases, not just settling the case at the community level.
Just hiding it, things like that. Yeah, awesome. And now I just want to, we are coming to the end of this. I want to talk about this is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Do you have a message to share to others about this child abuse prevention?
Okay, child abuse is not the child's fault. And as adults, child protection is everybody's business. Educate your child on how to stay safe. Speak to them about their body boundaries, how to report cases of abuse. Let them know the exact name they call their private body parts. Let them know the breast is called breast, the vagina is called vagina, the penis is called penis. Let them know what a safe touch is and what an unsafe touch is. You should build a child-friendly relationship with your child. So you are not alone. Speak up. When you speak up, you get the necessary help you need. And the Cece Yara Foundation is here to help you, is here to provide you with the necessary support. You can reach out to us through our toll-free child helpline, 0800 800 801. For schools, if you want us to visit your school, to talk, to sensitize your school children on how to stay safe, on our Safe Kids awareness and prevention. If you want us to visit your school to implement our Safe Kids awareness and prevention program, you can as well reach out to us on the child helpline 0800 801, or you can send a mail to us at info@ceceyara.org, and our services are free of charge. So speak up. When you see something, you say something. Don't just say, it's not my child, I don't want to intervene. When you protect one child, you're protecting several children within your reach.
Amazing. Well done. Do you have any additional thing to add?
We are here to help you. Feel free. Let's keep spreading the news on prevention. Let's keep protecting children around us. Let's create a safe environment for children, a happy childhood for children, because they deserve it. These children are innocent children and shouldn't be victims of child sexual abuse.
Thank you so much. I'm so passionate about this, and I've always said that in Nigeria, I think education matters when it comes to violence, and especially when it comes to against children. My dream would be that Nigeria, every school would have comprehensive sexuality education. That's something I hope we will do, but I think it might take a long way to all schools in Nigeria can implement that. But the little that parents can do, and even through foundations like this, doing outreaches and just educating people on prevention, it really matters, because it's not about not talking about it and saying, no, these are bad things, let's not talk about it. Meanwhile, it's happening in our society, it's happening in the news. Very, very young children, 2, 3 years old, are being abused, and we are saying that we shouldn't talk about it. We have to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, it's not going to go away. It's really important, the work you're doing, and I hope that everybody, whether you're a parent or not a parent, everybody takes action in doing what they can to prevent child abuse. Thank you so much
and
again.
Also to add, for schools, we also help in developing their child protection policy. Most schools don't have a child protection policy, and I think is what all schools should do. Parents, when you are taking your child, when you want to register your child in any school, always ask what their child protection policy says. And for schools, if you want us to visit, like I said, we could also train your teachers, school counselors on adult awareness program. It's train them on how to be active bystander in the response to child sexual abuse cases. We can also help to develop the child protection policy for your school.
That's amazing. I like that. Thank you so much.
Lagos, in Bagada, while we have office in Abuja here, Wuse 2, D2 Salatorial Estates, off Aminu Kano Crescent, Wuse 2. And our child helpline is nationwide. We've also received cases from people outside the country.
Wow.
And how do we respond? People ask, you're in Lagos, you're in Abuja, how do you respond? So we have partner agencies. There are agencies across states that will partner with. So if a case, for example, in Ekiti State is reported through our child helpline, we reach out to our partner in Ekiti State. And when we reach out, we don't just let the case be like that. We don't just say we've referred the case to a partner in Ekiti, so the person will take up. No, we do close monitoring. We do close follow-up to ensure that our client is comfortable, our client is satisfied with the referral we provide to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much and well done.
The children reception, it's warm, calm, and child-friendly. You can see there are toys that when they come in here, they don't get to, it doesn't traumatize the child. It makes them feel safe and able to communicate, feel relaxed. Then we have the child advocate's office. This is the office where we have the lawyers, the social workers, child advocates, where we also hold a case management meeting to deliberate about cases that need intervention and case progress on the cases we handle. So what the forensic interview does is to elicit detailed information from the child in a child-friendly manner. And we have unique dolls that we use in getting information from the child. You see, these are the dolls. The child gets to demonstrate what happened during the abuse. Then we have the forensic interview involves a multidisciplinary team approach where we have stakeholders involved in the case coming together to observe the interview. So there is a camera up here that watches the child and the forensic interviewer while the forensic interview is going on. So if they have any question, they can call in during the forensic interview to ask whatever questions they want to ask the child. And one thing about the forensic interview is it reduces the trauma on the child. It reduces the number of times the child gets to visit the police stations and all to talk about the abuse, because it is recorded and is tenable in court. We've made use of our forensic interview in getting judgments on cases. So this is a case management room where child advocates meet to deliberate on cases, talk about case progress. It's also the observation room through which the stakeholders, the multidisciplinary team like police, the medical doctor, everyone involved in the case gets to observe the interview. So that's child helpline, like a documentary of child helpline in Africa, in America, in Asia, Europe. Yeah.